everybody, I'm Charlie Grace, and welcome to RV Travel Talk. As you can see, I have my lovely co-host back here, Rosie Bell Dog. She'll be taking a nap for most of it. You never know, she might jump in and ask a few questions, but just in case, I'm here for you. We're going to have a special guest, but just so we get a little what's going on for the day here. So if this is your first time listening or watching, we really appreciate your being here. Thank you so much. If you're watching us, we are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch this evening, which is a lot of fun. If we make you smile and have a great time, please feel free. We love super chats and all sorts of wonderful things. We are more than happy to put that in our Smile Fund. And what that does is we pay it forward within members of our community and other things to help other individuals. Right now, we've been actually collecting money for a accessibility project. We're helping others that can no longer get out of their home, help them get ramps for their home right now in the Northwest Ohio area, which is really fun. A great group of gentlemen that we got to meet on one of our travels got to tell us all about that. And we're hoping to raise enough money to put at least 3 different ramps in some private residences and get some shut-ins out there so they can travel as well. So really, really cool. Let's see who we've got right now in our interactive chat. I've got to talk right now. I'm getting tongue-tied. Oh my gosh, here we go. See my buddy here, the Broken Nomad. Hey, thanks for being here. Good to see you. Oh my goodness, there's Stanley McFalls, the Southern Comedian. What's up, friends? I see I've got, it's going to be a fun night. Of course, lots of good stuff going on. Deborah's here. How are you? Good to see you and your lovely little pup. And Georgianne. Hey, Georgianne. Charlie Grace finally get to catch your live. Well, it's about time, Georgianne. I'm just saying. So we're going to be doing lots of really cool interviews during the month of November and December. Lots of things going on. We'll be live pretty much every Monday and Tuesday doing some nice things and bringing you some really cool people to meet. I have to tell you, I'm really excited. I want to make sure that there's a lot of opportunities for you guys to meet some more people in the community so you guys can, make new friends as well as listen and hear some really cool things that are going on out there. I love this. Here's our buddy Love Subbin. Hey, greetings from Myrtle Beach. Ooh, I hope that's nice and cool and warm down there. Oh my gosh. The Wandering Stars watching from Imperial Dam, long-term visitor area outside of Yuma, Arizona. Very nice. Thanks for being here. All right. Well, let's bring up our special guest, if you don't mind, because I think we have a lot of stuff to talk about. And, you guys are going to be really excited because I know I am. I've had fun watching their videos for some time. It's about time. So here we go, guys. Let's bring them on up. All right. Guess who I have? I have the Austin's Travel.
Hello.
Hello. We're excited to be here.
This is so cool. I love you guys. So you guys have an awesome YouTube channel. I want you guys just to talk a little about, who are you and why do a YouTube channel anyways?
That's me? Okay. Well, we are Sean and Lauren. We hit the road in May of 2021 when our young son Aiden was 3 months old. But I guess the kind of elevator pitch for us, I was one of those working the corporate job, 60 hours a week, made a ton of money, but we never saw each other.
Ever.
And, and so thankfully, well, I guess we had a few unfortunate situations in our life with a couple of people close to us that passed away, some rather unexpectedly. But we had followed keep your daydream for a little while. And they always talk about start small, start now. Right. And so it was kind of like, all right, well, maybe once Aiden's potty trained or once he's a little bit older, that was her objection.
That was my first objection was I can't do this with a baby or a toddler.
Yes. So it was
let's talk about that. You have how many children? One. Okay. Yes. And how old was the baby when you started?
3 months.
3 months.
He was born in February of 22.
Wow.
And sorry, I said we hit the road in May of 21, May of 22, May of last year. So he was born February of last year. We hit the road basically Memorial Day weekend is when we. But
wow, that's impressive.
It's been a dream of mine for years. And I, Lauren thankfully came around to it.
Lauren, you are a warrior. You are amazing. I just was for all the women out there who've had babies. We understand what this is like, and to take a 3-month-old on the road, and you guys just went full time, right? You guys just did it.
We just pretty much jumped in, literally got out of the house in April, did a little stint with my mom while we were getting the RV and getting the necessary things that you need, and then we were just jump all in feet first. Let's do this.
Wow. Now have you ever camped before? I mean, did you have any experience in this, or was it just brand spanking new?
Well, yeah. I mean, I grew up camping, but I I stumbled across YouTube channels back in 2019. I had actually bought an RV to hit the road solo, just myself and my dog.
Mhm.
And 2 days before I left town, I met Lauren in line.
Aw.
And so I kind of asked myself, I was like, well, I can hit the road and be out by myself boondocking, or I could stay in Colorado Springs and get to know this girl. And obvious what choice I made, but
Life happens. Life happens when you meet a girl. Just saying.
mhm. But thankfully now I've got, 2 travel companions, plus I still have the dog, but
Of course.
it's a lot more fun with them than being by myself.
Well, you know what? It's nice to have a travel companion. It's nice to have a travel community. It is really fun to have that kind of opportunities to share these experiences with, I think. And this has been an adventure. I mean, I'm telling you, I was watching your videos going, if you guys have not checked these guys out, let me just say right now, you need to go check them out. I've got a link to their channel pinned in the description as well as in the interactive chat. Go check it out, watch a video, make a comment, have some fun. You're going to love this because they've done some stuff. I mean, you guys have really done a lot in the short period of time you guys have been doing this. So that's sort of how you started, was you were going to, just like me, sort of like hanging out with the dog, like, let's go. And the next thing you know, you've got more people in tow. How did that change? I was going to ask you, as far as a rig goes, the decision, how did that whole thing evolve?
Yeah, this is my 3rd rig now. I refurbished an old 1990 Lance truck camper that I was originally going to mess that up because I didn't understand the right equipment for going off road. Then I went complete opposite end of the spectrum and bought a brand new Grand Design Imagine. That's what I had when we met.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we both liked it, but it was literally just sitting in storage. So we sold it to a couple that had just retired and they hit the road to enjoy it.
Nice.
But then when we started looking, we actually decided we liked a model that would not have slides, that was just a simple floor plan.
Well,
Go
but
ahead.
that in and of itself was really an evolution. Like, the first time that we went and looked at Camping World,
That's true.
I was in my mind, I was like, we need like a 35-foot like fifth wheel with like everything
Right.
possible, because all these different things that you think you need. But
Right.
then when we really started talking through wants versus needs, we were really able to whittle that down. And it was really Sean's vision to go as like minimalist as possible in as small of a rig as we
Mhm.
thought we could do. And so that's how this came about, with like, we don't want any slides, like we really want to be as compact as possible. So
Yeah.
sorry, I just had to interject that,
Oh,
because
that's
I
it.
think that's a really important point for people who are thinking about getting on the road, is explore a lot of different floor plans and sizes and really differentiate needs from wants, because that can really dictate what rig you end up with.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good added. My thing. I'm sort of like you guys in the fact I'm a Goldilocks story. I've had 3 rigs. I sort of, you start with one, and then you do, and then you finally find the right fit. Or more importantly, you're really going out there and you're seeing how you want to travel. What you really need. How is that going to fit into your lifestyle? And how's it going to work? So it's a process. It really is a process. And my suggestion, right, to a lot of people, and I've had a lot of great advice on things. My suggestion is to rent. Really is. If you could rent, and there was like, oh, it's so expensive. Oh, I can't believe how much. I'm like, it's more expensive to make $100,000 mistake
Yeah.
Yes,
than,
definitely.
Yeah.
it's a different way of looking at that stuff. So,
It's even the way we like to camp. So we've got a 30-foot travel trailer,
mhm.
and it has no slides, so that's nice. We always have access to the full rig, but there still are places it gets a little bit hard.
Okay, so let's talk about, what do you have? What's your rig
Oh,
and everything?
yeah, so it's a 2022 Heartland Prowler,
Okay,
250 BH. So
and
that's
you're
the
towing it with,
an F250. We've got a 2016 F250 King Ranch,
okay,
which also has actually updated for us
Yes.
this year with the addition of the young one. I had an old 2002 F250 that was still like the stick shift manual, 7.3-liter diesel. Loved it. But the problem is you feel every bump in the road,
Yeah.
and it just made Lauren could drive it, but
But the main problem was that it was an extended cab instead of I don't
full
know, the
four-door, yeah.
full
Yeah.
four-door, yeah.
We didn't have enough room for the car
Yeah.
seat for
we
8
We
need
literally
the crew. We need the crew cab, right?
Yeah, we literally had to
Yeah.
get a different car seat to hit the road. because it didn't fit in the back of the truck.
So excited. These are real world problems, real RV problems that people don't think about. It's true. I mean, and things happen. Life changes. Here we go. I love these things. Well, okay. So the RV that you currently have. So you've had. Let's start with this. So I heard the truck camper. Like I'm
Mhm.
going through the list, and then you had one in storage that you ended up selling. So you're on 3.
I'm on number 3. Yes, our
Feel your
first
pain.
shared combined, but I'm on number 3.
You're number 3. Okay, awesome. Very cool. Now I'm going to ask you a really interesting question since you've been in it for a while. If there was one thing that you could change in your RV, what would it be?
That's kind of a
Ooh.
funny question, just because we've completely renovated the entire thing this year.
Uh-huh.
So, do you still have a current answer, or do we need to go back to like how it was pre and answer?
Well, let's start with when you first bought it. Like when you first bought it, was there something that just jumped out? You said, "Man, I can't live with that love seat," or "I've just got to change this table," or like, was there something like big?
The first functional thing would
Yeah.
be I needed an office.
Yes.
And so
Gotcha.
we had a bunkhouse. Bunkhouse had to go so
Right.
that I had an office.
Yeah.
And then the dinette had to go because that was our sole floor space
Yeah.
for a
Right.
kiddo.
Mhm.
But then for the more like the things that you wanted to change, you probably had a list.
Yeah.
Sinks
Yeah, I did. So it's funny how like once you live in this space for a little while and you're like, oh, this is like actually so much bigger than I thought it was originally. Like at first I was so nervous. I was like, this is so small. I don't know how we're gonna do this. Like Sean really wanted this rig. He had this vision for how everything would work. And he obviously had a lot more experience with it than I did. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna let him take the reins on this. And that was like really challenging for me, like really, really challenging. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna trust him because I feel like he has a better pulse on this than I do. And so then after living in it for a couple months, I was like, okay, the bed needs to be bigger. The closet has to move to make that happen. We need more storage space under the bed. I hate all the colors. Like I hate all the interior decoration. Like it's just awful. So basically we need to gut this new RV. That funny thing, I actually don't know if Sean remembers this, but when we were talking through what rigs we want, I was like, let's get an old one. Let's redo it, just like refurbish it. It'll
Right.
cost
Right.
a whole lot less. But then with all the COVID stuff, we literally couldn't find a used rig. And so then we had to go new, knowing that we were basically going to renovate all of it at some point.
So I'm just going to throw this out there because it's been my experience as a mother at some point in time. I've hormonally had some moments where I have like made holes in walls and saying we're either getting something bigger or we're moving. Like I've
Yeah.
made some really big dramatic decisions during my childbearing years of doing things like this, and I totally get. And you just get motivated, and
Mhm.
you're like, I can see this, and it takes nesting to a whole nother level. So I cannot even imagine what that is like with an RV. I can picture it, Sean. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was basically this laundry list of things that he and our really good friend Kyle ended up like, and my uncle and his
Yeah.
uncle, like a series of people really, like it literally took a village to make
In
it happen.
fairness, though, Lauren more just said like, okay, I'd like a bigger bed, or I'd like this.
Right.
And then, yeah, Kyle from the Wandering Shores were hanging out in Yuma last February, and basically everything she said, I guess I just really enjoyed demolition a lot.
Oh, there you
So
go.
it was more me just going in, all right, I'm just going to rip all of this out to force us to have to redo it. So a lot of it probably was self brought upon myself. But
That's okay. That I understand. It's okay. Broken Emmett said storage is key. Ask me how I know this. He is in the process of building some stuff right now. I've seen a picture of his rig. It's pretty amazing. We got to talk about the pup because our friend Tim with Tim and Duke, he's got a little corgi. It says Duke lost 4 incisors today. He's still groggy from being knocked out. I get a break from playing with him. He's like really hyper and fun. But your pup is how old is your pup now?
she is 11.
Oh.
I've had her a long time. She's a beagle mix.
Mm-hmm.
So the mom was purebred beagle. The dad was a mixture of like Australian Shepherd and a few others. But she is probably the most active beagle you'll ever see, but she still has like that food motivation and like where we're parked out at Ditto, like right now you see us in my dad's house, but we're visiting family for the holidays. So
Mhm.
our RV is out at Ditto Landing and there are squirrels everywhere. So the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
day I'm trying to work and I just hear Dagny like barking and yelping and trying to get into the squirrels. And
Gotta enjoy it while you have it. I think right now a lot of people who have RVs, and I know we can talk because I watched one of your shows about this. Right now, a lot of people worried about mice.
Mhm.
Mice
Yes.
and rodents are like the biggest thing that a lot of people are thinking of. I have done. There's actually a video. A guy does Mousetrap Mondays, where they talk about the ways that you can deter mice, things you can do in your home, that kind of thing. Because I am obsessed. I'm like Caddyshack obsessed with trying to keep rodents out. It's been a real challenge. So I know we can talk about that. I love this. Got a few more people that came in real quick. I want to mention New Horizons because they have been. It says Diane Phoenix, our back wall is coming loose. It's supposed to be a recall, but Keystone's dragging their feet and giving us a runaround. They've had some talk about people who've owned some RVs. They've had some amazing RVs over the years. And when I met them, they had a Class A, and now they're in a fifth wheel. But
That
it's
sounds like wild RV life.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
need to go look at their video and how he put that
Rigged
back
it.
on.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's so much fun. Oh my god. So here's the real question: would you do another renovation?
We literally were just talking about this yesterday. I would. I
Yeah.
don't want to do it for a while, but I think the key thing is I don't want to do it while I'm living in it.
Mhm.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
we were able to do it this summer while we were visiting family back in Colorado Springs. So we didn't have to be in the rig for a 6-week period, but it was
Okay.
only meant to be a 2-week trip that turned into 3 weeks because of jury duty, which then
Mhm.
turned into 6 weeks because we tore everything out. Trying to do it in that short of a time period just made it way too stressful.
Mhm.
But if we someday we're going to homestead and have land, if we were to do that and get an RV and I've just got it parked and I can take my time renovating it the way we want to, absolutely, like I thoroughly enjoy the process. I just don't like it when I'm pressed for time because we're living in it and
Well,
have
it's
to get
hard,
this
and
on the road.
yeah, it's really hard. But okay, now you bring up a good point. I'm gonna tag on to this. So, is your goal to travel to find a place that you might use for a homestead or buy for a homestead? What is your goal?
Ooh,
Yeah,
good
that's a good
question.
question.
Season 3 hasn't come out yet, so you're kinda,
Okay.
yeah, do you wanna
Spoiler.
answer that or
Yeah, so originally, I think we didn't have that in mind. Like it
Mhm,
wasn't really anything we were talking about. It was just like for us, it was a step towards like minimalism and
Mhm.
getting out of the city and living for us what is a more like fulfilling, healthier life. Getting away from the noise pollution and
Mhm.
all the other pollutions, and just being able to spend more time together, like working less. I had just finished med school, and Sean had like a super stressful corporate job. And so for us, I think like getting to know each other again was kind of a big thing, like getting to spend time together. And then obviously we had just had a baby. So everything that entails. I think we just needed to like reconnect with ourselves and like reconnect with nature. And so that's what it started out as. And I don't know, we didn't really have like a timeline. It was just we're gonna go do this until we don't want to do this
mhm,
anymore. And so while we've been traveling, because we primarily boondock and stay out on public lands, away from civilization purposefully, we have really enjoyed that lifestyle and started talking about what's next, but we
Mhm.
don't have a timeline for like getting off the road
yeah,
necessarily. We're still really
Gotcha.
enjoying that. It's just something like out there on the
mhm.
horizon for something we would like to do
Well,
at some point.
we just know we want to teach Aiden and potential future kids about, like, here's where your food actually comes
Mhm.
from,
Right.
here's how you, like, get out in nature
Mhm,
in sunlight and,
mhm,
work and stuff like that. So we know it's a natural progression. But yeah, we definitely didn't set out to RV just to
mm-mm.
find land, but we
Mhm.
found many of the places we're going, we're like
You were
looking
like,
at
"Oh,
land.
I could live here,
Yeah.
like, let's go talk to your realtor and just, like, see
And
what's out there."
let's put a
Yeah,
pin in
these
this area. Let's come back to it. Let's
Yep.
I love that. Well, okay, let's talk about boondocking because I'm primarily I do a lot of things in the southeast. A lot of people are like, well, there's not a lot of land. You go out west, there's so much land. Where's some good boondocking spots that y'all have found?
Oh, like 90% of the places we've been to, honestly. And we've been through Colorado, South Dakota, Wyoming, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Utah so far. I think, it's so hard to pick, honestly. I think Steamboat Springs, Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument,
down in
it's such a
Arizona.
mouthful down in Arizona, and probably Washington Gulch outside of Crested Butte.
Yeah.
That sounds
Without
pretty.
like really sitting down and thinking like where are all the different places
Oh
we've
yeah.
been. I would say those are my favorite, but also what's that spot outside of Tucson? Outside of Marana. You know what it's called?
Mm-mm.
Kyle, do you know what it's called?
I'm not sure which one you're referring
It's one of
to.
those. So, but how do you find your boondocking spots? Do you use like iOverlander? Are you looking at apps? Like, how are you?
Yeah, so we use Campendium quite a bit.
Okay.
However, this year we've been quite fortunate because we've been traveling with Kyle and Michelle from the Wandering Shores, and just a quick pitch for him.
Pump Station
He
Road.
does Pump Station. Okay. He actually maintains a website and does tons of campsite reviews. That's how we met, is because I saw his campsite review for Browns Creek and near Buena Vista in Salida, Colorado. I rely on him a ton because he's in a bunch of groups and knows basically all the different sites anywhere we're going. So
Yeah.
even like when I was making our trip from Colorado back east just to visit family, before I decided to go the Harvest Host Boondockers welcome route, my first question was, Kyle, what spots are there? And he just pulls up his map and sends a bunch to me. But I would say Kyle's resource in Campendium is probably, honestly, probably 100% of the places we've stayed this year for sure.
Okay. That's a good go-to. I mean, I'm going to tell you, there's a new thing coming out. I'm very excited about this. I'm giving everybody the inside scoop because they're working on the back end. I think that the website's up now. It's called RV Overnights. Okay. Look it up. I'm gonna be putting out a link hopefully in the next week or two, just to give you guys free so you guys can go take a look at this thing. It's sort of like Harvest Host, but with a heck of a lot better filters, heck of a lot better planning. Really, really neat, and it's cheap.
Is it kind of like the All Stays app, but more focused for RVs versus like say vans and?
No, it goes around. Yeah, it's a whole thing because I'm a B girl. So I mean, I look for my friends who have A's and B's, and this has a broad range. I really like this idea. I'm telling you what, I met with the people who put it together, met them in Hershey in September. Completely impressed with what they were doing. And as soon as like I said, as soon as I get all together, but it's called RV Overnights, and I'll get you guys a discount code or an app or something, whatever we can get you guys to take a look at it. Because I think we really need to. This is one of those things where when you find something that's really working that we can support, I can get behind it. It's really cool. Really nice. Oh, here we go. Okay. So Deborah's like, I'm not so handy. I tried a hammer and oh, really? Really? You're killing me. Okay. And the Wandering Shores are blushing. They're like, oh,
I'm not much.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love this.
If Deborah watches any of our Reno videos, and I haven't put all of them out, I've only done 2 of them so far, but I'm not much handier. And even this week, I was like peeling some of the paint off that didn't work quite the way I thought it did. But
oh no,
it's fun and you learn.
Okay, now let's talk about the baby.
Oh,
he's not so much a baby anymore. He's a toddler, not the big guy, the little guy. So,
she travels
3 months. 3 months. 3 months. Okay, then not only is a toddler. Okay, so what are some challenges? I mean, how are you guys doing this with like a new schedule, and how's that working?
My challenge is I've got to work in close proximity. And thankfully, I've got a good headset with noise canceling headphones.
Okay.
But right now, he can literally walk over to my desk and I'm sitting there and he's like tapping me, dad, 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 and wants to be held. And so, I mean, that is obviously a challenge. He's actually outside the door right now wanting to come in. But, that's a challenge. And especially for Lauren, because since she's not working, well, we've got her side business we're working on, but that's separate. So during the day while I'm working, our plan A, she's got to watch him. And when he wants to make noise, like she's like, shh, shh, shh.
And now when I
And-
say shh, 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 he just starts screaming, like literally,
That's
like
true.
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I hate to give you a heads up, but when they're 3, it's the same hormonal like levels they are when they're 16. So it's just like a precursor, just sort of like to give you an idea what's coming up.
Oh, we're in for it.
You're in for it. And you know, and this is something to think about. I know a lot of work from home people, especially work from home in small areas. You know, I talk to a lot of people who are like, I can't get my dog quiet. You know, I'm like, let's talk peanut butter. I can't keep my kid quiet. A lot of parents are using sign language. Have you tried sign language with them? Which is always good. Or puzzles. Like there's a basket I used back in the day that when certain things were occurring, only the kiddo could go into that basket. So let's say I was breastfeeding a kiddo on this side. Well, instead of taking attention away from the kid, it was, oh, mom, take the baby. We want to go play with those toys because we don't get to do it unless you do. So maybe here's a thought.
Yeah, that's really good.
Down the road when you need some quiet time, when you've got readings and stuff like that. Maybe come up with a very specific idea. That might be something really interesting, whether it be a book or, you know, a quiet something or because little boys, I love them, can make sounds out of anything. Cars, sticks, rocks. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we've already we've baby-proofed the door so he can't push out.
That was a challenge, was figuring that out.
But yeah, baby-proofing other stuff, like it can be a little bit harder. Like he can just slam all the cabinets, and I need to try and toddler-proof those a little bit more. But like we got rid of the oven and our stovetop, the handles are on top, so he can't reach them to turn on propane.
Yeah, we purposefully renovated that to work around little hands.
Little fingers.
Yeah. But I would say, honestly, for us, it's been
easier.
Simpler because one, he doesn't have as much space to run away because he's at the age you blink and he's like halfway across the house when we're in a house.
In the house, he does.
But especially when he can get outside, he's so much better behaved. It's when he's cooped up in a house that he's just like, okay, I'm gonna slam stuff and
get into stuff,
yell, and so.
Yeah, I think it's easier being in the RV for all the reasons Sean mentioned. Like when we do have to be inside, it's a more enclosed space, but then we get outside so much more. Like it's so much easier to take him outside. Like usually because we boondock, we have like so much space, just like wide open spaces. Like we can, one time he walked 2 miles with me. And so it's great to be able to have that space to get energy out where we don't have to worry about cars. And the only thing I worry about really is like rattlesnakes usually. But
small things.
Haven't run into any.
Haven't run into
Actually,
any.
we did run into a bear, but he was the one that saw the bear.
He was the one who saw the bear, and he kept calling it a dog. And I was like, your dog is inside. Your dog is inside. And then I look up, and there's this brown bear. Or sorry, let me.
Black bear.
It was a black bear that was brown. We were in Colorado. It wasn't
a bear.
And there's a bear walking across the road, like probably 50 yards in front of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do? I know. New Horizons says when our boys were quiet, that's when they were worried. Like when you don't hear the noise, you're like, what's going on?
Too quiet.
I love it. Oh my gosh. All right. So here's a question. What are some items that you could not live without as you travel? Ooh.
Or Berkey. I know that's controversial right now. Maybe I should just say a water filtration system.
No, it's not. What here's the thing. Think of it like this. Some people like, I'm a 0.2 micron kind of gal. You know, I can talk water all day long. We can talk about filtration, but portability. So that it's portable for you guys, which is nice.
It doesn't require electricity.
There you go. And especially if you're boondocking, you have to think about those things.
Yes.
That's huge. I know. What do you think, Sean? What's something you couldn't live without?
Well, I guess I had my original answer was our grill. We use a Blackstone, and it's not that I love the Blackstone that much, but it's convenient.
Okay.
But for our diet, you know, the food we eat, like a grill is a must. But I would probably say what pays for our lifestyle is my job. The Anchor Powerhouse 767, it's one of the solar generators. It allows us to completely simulate like our RV is completely hooked up to solar, but I didn't have to do an entire solar install. And it's easy. I can just power it off at night, but that's what keeps us, for any electric we do need, that's what keeps us running. and obviously not sponsored. I just
Yeah,
that
right.
that
So
solar
wait.
generator.
How many solar panels do you have? I'm curious.
So what we started with, I had one of the Renogy 200-watt suitcases that powers our main battery. That's the fridge, the lights, the water
Right.
pump, furnace, and then we tried. So for this company, I'll have to do a review on it. We tried the solar panels that went with it. They were garbage, terrible. They're on the
Mhm.
ground. Aiden climbs on them, but we just didn't get the wattage out of them.
Okay.
So back a couple months back, Kyle and I actually put 400 watts up on the roof right now. That's working wonderfully
Yes.
because I can actually use that to even charge our house battery. I think I'm going to add probably 400 watts more to go up to 800 watts. Just get rid of the Renogy solar suitcase. And then what those do is they charge the solar generator, and then that solar generator comes with a 30 amp plug. So I
Okay.
plug the RV into that, and it completely simulates like I'm plugged into shore power.
Mhm.
And the only thing I had to do was just the 800 watts of solar. I don't have anything else. Everything else is
Wow.
built into the solar generator.
Wow.
Did
That's amazing. That's a good tip. I mean, really, it's a good tip because like there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time and money. It's good
Mhm.
to see what other people are using, what they're doing.
Yeah.
Other people are saying, and everybody wants to talk batteries, man. Everybody wants to know how many
Uh,
batteries do
yeah.
you have?
So we're very, like Lauren said, we're very minimalist. We don't have a TV in our RV. If we watch TV, we just use laptop, or occasionally we'll use like my work monitor. Um, but we have one 206 amp hour sock battery, and then now we've got the solar generator.
Okay.
But
Nice.
the 206 amp hour, it keeps our fridge running. We don't use lights at night, really. We
Mhm.
just have little like night lights and other stuff. So like we don't have a lot of needs there. We run the furnace typically like 53 to 55 at night, to try and keep it from running too much, and we just have more covers. But that 206 amp hour battery has been more than sufficient.
Yeah, very nice. Very cool. I know, it pendulum swings on both sides because if you're like Susan, she's like, she's not minimalist. She needs a wash machine. She's like, I can't live without it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can empathize with that. I'm getting to where I really dislike laundromats. But I mean, we have literally no space for a washing machine. That would be an incredible luxury.
That would be a luxury item. Just saying down the road, just think about how we can put that on the top. Make the second floor
Exactly,
of our
exactly.
I asked her
Kyle
today, I was
figure it
like,
out.
when we get this land, like I want to be a little bit off grid. And
Mhm.
I had even just referenced like washing and drying. And she's like, are you doing all the laundry?
Yeah,
Because
'cause
I'm not doing
I'm
it the
not
old fashioned
doing
way.
Yeah. I love. Okay, now everyone's also talking about a food ninja grill or food ninja foodie grill. I can't say that.
I've
And
never heard of that.
Haven't
people
heard of
love
that either.
those.
I'll have to look at
People love
that.
those things. They're
Yeah.
really good. And I think if I'm not mistaken, oh, here we go. Broken Nomad, he's got a ninja foodie too. They love it.
Mm.
It looks sort of like a crock pot, Instapot thing, but they do a bunch of other things with it. It's really cool. So it's like an all-in-one. Yeah,
Oh,
really cool.
that might be what Lauren had. She might have had
Yes.
the Ninja Foodie, because
Uh,
we've had a crock
maybe.
pot or
Yeah.
an instant pot. But
So Tim from Time for Exploring a Store like me, he has 250 amp hour AGMs. I got the old AGMs. I'm not cool enough to have lithium yet. It's on my
Mhm.
wish list. But I have solar. He has no solar, but he's got a 4,000 Onan generator. So
yeah,
for the generator people, let's talk about generator people, which they're fantastic, except certain states are now making it harder and harder to use a generator depending on where you go.
really.
So they're looking for have more that's going to be, California, I know is one. Depending on
Ah,
different, a lot of places, national parks will say, if you come, you can only use your generator at certain times.
Mhm.
okay.
It's just, they're promoting batteries,
Yeah.
and we'll see where this goes. But if you're in the Southeast, like I am, it gets hot.
Hmm.
You can't survive on battery life for really good air conditioning for 8 hours. That's not going to cut it. The humidity is intense. So
Yeah.
you gotta have options. Gotta have options. I love these.
Mhm.
Broken Name says, I have a washing machine in my van. It's good for a few shirts and some socks. I think he's got one of those little like portable ones that like you've
Yeah.
seen some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of those before, and we debated it, but we
Mhm.
just weren't sure for the water. And
Mhm.
like right now, our tub is taken up anyway, so we don't know where we would put it.
Yeah. I love someone's got one. The Cuppet portable wash machine. Yeah. They're fantastic. Okay, this is not fair. The machine, wait, where do you say the machinist is my arm? No, that doesn't count. A bucket
Yeah,
list.
well, our friend who we traveled with for a while, I think she has one that's similar where you just crank it. And I was like, this is great. I can do X, Y, and Z. But we were talking about our water needs, and we go a full week on 35 to 40 gallons, and we just didn't have the extra water to do that. But everybody who has had a toddler or a child, you know how handy that could be. There have been weeks where we've had to go to the laundromat like consecutive days.
Yeah. Some things you might just want to throw out.
Yes, we have done
really
that
worth
too. Yeah, sometimes it's cheaper to just go to the store and buy it new than to whenever you're going to be in town than to go to the laundromat. And we've done that too.
It's crazy. I love this. Okay, well, let's talk places because oh my gosh, I can't believe we're talking, you guys. This is awesome. What are some places that are on your bucket list though that you have not gone to yet that you really want to travel to?
Alaska.
Okay.
That was actually my first trip planned before, going back to the story of like I had this whole life planned on the road and then I met Lauren and never went. But Alaska for me is still on there. But if we're talking lower 48,
I have 2 national parks that I would really like to go to, and they're in complete opposite parts of the country. But I would love to go to Big Bend in Texas, and I would love to go to Teddy Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I still think for me, like Montana, we haven't made it up there yet. We were going to this year before some plans changed. And then I still think I would like to go when it's nice, like through some of the, like the UP up in Michigan and some of those states that I've just never been to. But I don't know. There's so much of the country we still want to see.
Yeah, we want to go to the Northeast, but campgrounds. So we're not quite ready for that. Sean wants to do the Route 66 continuously. What are some other things? Those are probably our main things.
Those are big ones. I will say right now, I had never been to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan until this past summer, and now I'm like, done. Sign me up. I'm good to go.
Okay.
It was beautiful, fantastic. I would do it another, and I didn't do. I'm not talking Mackinac because people love Mackinac too. Don't get me wrong. That really, I mean, for me, I travel with a dog, so I mean, she's, as you can tell, she's so hyper and active right now. Nap time. This is the only time I'm going to get this. The rest of the day, she's barking. Trust me. But we did Upper Peninsula, went to Munising Tourist Park, which is like a public RV park. And so, you got to pay, but it wasn't breaking the bank. It was like $35 on the beach on Lake Huron that you could enjoy this beautiful, stunning sunsets. Picture Rock National Park is right down the street. Just some really amazing things. So I would say, check it out. I really love this. Tim wants to go see Glacier National Park.
Yes.
Yeah, on my list too.
Yeah. I've been there, not in the RV, but I would definitely love to go again. It's amazing.
Okay. Broken Emmett says, avoid Texas in May through September unless you want your skin to burn off.
Well, I was going to say, we just drove through there for this trip in Shamrock, Texas, and it was still like 85. Thankfully, the Boondockers Welcome had electric, so we could use the AC because it was hot.
It was really hot.
It's crazy. It's embarrassing how hot it's been. Like, it's been absolutely nuts. I know, it's crazy. So, okay, well, what's coming up next?
No, so right now we're visiting family for the holidays. So we'll be in Huntsville for 2 weeks, over to Georgia to visit some of Lauren's family for 2 weeks, then back here for 2 weeks. But then we'll head back out to Arizona for the Escapers Annual Bash in January. Yes, we loved that. It was wonderful last year, so we're excited to go back. But right now, next year is looking like for us to head towards West Virginia. Lauren grew up going out to her family's cattle farm out there. We want to go spend some time there, look at some land out there, and then we're not really sure beyond that.
We don't know. We're purposefully not planning anything because this past year we had all of these plans, and then we literally changed every single one of them. And so this year we have multiple times. This year we have like a rough idea of what we might be doing for the first like 4 or 5 months. But that's also subject, I guess, to change. And we have no idea what we're doing the rest of the year purposefully.
Wow. Well, that's okay. I mean, you know what? it gives you some opportunities. Think of it like this. You have an opportunity. Like if you go somewhere, and I'm very jealous you're going to go to the Escapees Bash because I always want to get there. I can't always get that far west that quickly because I've got things going on. Plus, for me, January is Tampa. So I have to be at the Tampa RV show in Florida.
Yes,
And
we
see, we gotta
definitely
go
go
down
to that. That would be another bucket list item that I had forgotten about. But yes, we'd love to do that.
Got to go to Tampa. It's a great, I mean, Tampa or Hershey. If you got to go one or the other, they're both really, these are RV shows that you sort of need to go to and just see all the amazing things out there because they have so many, it's worth it. It's really worth it.
But that's what's wonderful about this life. It's
Mhm.
not like we have to sit here and plan for our one vacation a year we're going to go to. We love that we can just pick and choose and go these places we haven't even thought about going in. Somebody just brings up, it's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, like places we didn't even know existed, and somebody else is going there, and we're like, oh, that sounds cool. And we go there, and it's like one of our favorite places that we've ever been. So,
like Oregon Pike National Monument during the Super Bloom.
Yeah.
If you go there in March, that was incredibly beautiful. That was literally a day or two in advance. Hey, we can't go here for a week. And then Kyle and Michelle were like, well, come down here. And we loved it.
So I have one question before you go, because everyone's going to ask me this because you talked about working out of the rig and you boondock a lot. So what internet are you using?
Oh, okay. These days, that's kind of not quite as interesting because it's Starlink, or at least out west, it's Starlink. I do use, so we use Visible for me to be on Verizon. Lauren, we actually have her on her mom's AT&T plan. We don't find we can really use AT&T, at least the places we've been. I can sometimes work off cell data, but for the time we've been on the road, it literally has been 100% Starlink. It's worked everywhere we've been. Until here, we don't have any kind of view to the sky, so Starlink doesn't work, but thankfully my Verizon signal does.
Okay. So that's a big issue. A lot of people, this is a lot of digital nomads. I'm out there trying to work too. I've actually just tried, and I know Susan from I was going to say Time for Exploring, New Horizons. I just got the T-Mobile home internet to try out. It was like $50 a month, but it's unlimited. And I've always had these I don't know. I mean, I have a Verizon, I have an AT&T. I've tried all these different things because I'm in a lot of metropolitan areas. So you're right. If I was out west, Starlink would be a no-brainer. I mean, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But I'm getting like really amazing signals with this T-Mobile thing. It's really strong. I mean, I was like streaming in the middle of nowhere and lower Alabama kind of thing this weekend. It was amazing. Really, really cool. So I was like, okay, there's a check. But I'm going to do some speed tests because I want to show people as you go along. It's always been the rule of thumb as a person working out of a rig to have multiple things. Put all your eggs in one basket.
When I was looking back in 2019, I did a lot more of that because then I had the Wii Boost and the MIMO antennas and trying to figure out the different jetpacks and this, that, and the other. I guess I've taken it for granted that Starlink has just worked so well everywhere that honestly, my only backup is our cell data. And at least thus far, it hasn't been an issue, but knock on wood, because
well, but that is one of the main reasons we have stayed out west, because we like to boondock, because we have Starlink, because we don't have these other things. We haven't taken the leap to figure it out, to venture into the east and northeast yet.
Yeah. But it will be a challenge when we go to West Virginia, from what I understand.
Yeah. I'm listening, and I've got unlimited AT&T in the van. So his van has Wi-Fi, and I know AT&T worked great through most of 32 states I've been through. I did have a Verizon jetpack just in case, used it only a handful of times. You got to have a backup. I mean, you got to have a backup. There's no doubt about it. Well, guys, this is awesome. I'm so excited. Yay. I know the little guy's sleeping and or, just having a moment with the babysitter in the background, I'm sure. And you guys have been amazing parents. I cannot believe it's been so quiet. Geez, what did you bribe him with? That's amazing.
I think he's watching football with his papa right now.
There you go.
My pro team is the Broncos, so I'm about to go watch.
There you go.
Hopefully they're not down 17-0 already.
It'll be fine. It's just football, man. It's just football. So.
Thank you.
Well, unless we're talking Alabama, then it's life.
Roll Tide. Okay. It's God, country, Nick Saban. We understand. This is how we roll. We understand. This is how the world works these days. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys for coming. This has been fantastic. I want to tell everybody watching once again at home and in their cars and in their vans and in their RVs or whatever, check out the Austin's Travel. Fantastic channel on YouTube. We put the links, of course, in the description and in the chat. You guys have been fantastic, and I really appreciate it. I hope someday we can all go boondocking and I can go, hey,
Right.
I'll be waving from afar, be the crazy redhead in the van.
Well, we might pass each other on 565.
There you go. That would be really cool. All right, guys. I'm going to put you in the basement. There's milk and cookies down there. Hold on one second. I'll be right there. Here we go. Oh my gosh, they are so sweet. I love these guys. We are really excited to be doing this through the fall season. So November and December, like I said, we're going to have Mondays and Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have some really cool interviews with some channels that you guys have never really may not be paying attention to, or might, learn something new and learn some tidbits of different things regarding RVs. So we'd love to have you guys here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have Love Subbin. I cannot wait. We're going to talk to Love Subbin and learn all about some stuff. They have an amazing Airstream and a really great story. So until then, everyone have a fantastic night, and we will see you later.